Hello and welcome back to the Board Game Bunker and the series I read the rules so you don't have to. And this week I'll be teaching you how to play You Know It. This is the board for You Know It. It is a quiz game where it's not what you know that will make you win it, it's who knows what. And that is their slogan. At the start of a game, every player will be given a coloured whiteboard, a matching whiteboard pen, a little token there, and 2 betting chips. Now, this game is 3 to 6 players, so I'll be playing as a 3-player game, but by myself, which doesn't really work. But for the purposes of a tutorial, imagine I'm surrounded by friends. What are they? But at the start of the game, everyone will put their little marker here on the starting space there. Normally it would be stood up, but for a top-down view, it makes it a bit easier if I just lie them flat. So you can play them however you want. Everyone else around the table would have their matching coloured boards. So I'll just leave them there for now. We don't need to worry about them. But it will help me explain what's going to happen in the game. So these players would also have a You Know It and a You Don't Know It betting chip that we will keep on their boards for now. So you decide who is going to be the first question giver. Now, the rules of this game are whoever is the first question giver, then the person next to them gets the first bet. We will get to betting a little bit later. But for me, I ignore that rule. I don't like other people touching my cards. I don't know. I've had friends in the past treat them like poker cards and bend them. So if it's easier, just give one person the ability to read all the questions, then that works fantastically for this game. Either way, you will get this little sleeve. It is so you cannot see the answers on the back. All the questions that are about to be asked are there on the front. So if you want to play along at home for the purpose of a tutorial, then we will get into it. So the first question on this card is, which 90s boy band is the best-selling boy band of all time? So what you will do when you hear that question is you will write down your answer in question 1. And I have no idea, but it's a 90s question, so I am going to say them, I hope. So I've put down my answer on the whiteboard. Then what you do, because if you use this board up here for an example, you will have 1. That is where you write your space, but you're also seeing a little mark here. Now that's not for your score. What this box here is you will then write a number. In this case, it will be a number between 0 and 3 because there are 3 players. And what you would do here is write down a number of how many people around the table you think know this answer. So I am going to say 0 because I don't think I know this answer. I have put a guess down from a 90s boy band, but I've put 0. Everyone else will be keeping this secret, so you just write down your answer and how many people you think know it around the table. We then move on to question 2. Which Disney film became the first to be nominated for Best Picture? So again, you write down what you think it is in slot number 2. I'm going to do shorthand because otherwise there'd be a long pause of silence while I'm writing it down. And I'm going to write how many people around the table I think know the answer next to that. Third question, if you're playing along at home. In 1997, David Wolfe became the first American to vote from where? In 1997, David Wolfe became the first American to vote from where? And again, you write down where you think that is. Am I in the right? One person might know it. I don't even know if I'm in the right decade. I don't know if I'm in the right decade for my answer, so I've probably got that wrong. Next, question 4. What was Netflix's first business? I'm pretty sure it was that. I think 2 people around the table. That obviously that would all be kept secret until later on. And finally, question 5. What 1990 World Cup winning nation no longer exists? What 1990 World Cup winning nation no longer exists? I know the answer to that one. And I think that I know it, so I'm going to put 1 down, but people might know that around the table. Next, put your lid back on your pen. You no longer need that, well, you will for marking, but because I've got a nice little mat here, I don't want that mat to get ruined by a pen. So, the question phase is now over. So, starting from the player to the left of the question taker for the first one, they will receive, and I've put it out somewhere and then not got it, the first bet token. That just means that they are going to be the first person to bet. Because remember, what trivia games are, some people get put off because maybe they don't think they know a lot of general knowledge. They might be very good in one specific area. This pack that I've got this question out of was just a 90s pack, so there's just questions on the 90s. But in this game, it doesn't matter what you know. It's what your friends know, and it's who knows around the table. And that is because there is now a betting phase. So the question master will read out question 1 again. Which 90s boy band is the best-selling boy band of all time? These chips now come into play. This will go to the green player, and they will say, do you want to bet? Now, they can bet one of these chips or none of these chips. They don't have to. You've got 5 questions to use them, then they come back to you. So if they look around the table and go, I don't think I know it, they will put a you don't know it on B. Fair enough. I don't do pop music that much. I'm more into rock and pop punk. I don't think I know this answer. So they've probably got a point there. It passes on to the purple team. Do you want to bet? They might say, no, I want to save it. There's questions later on that I think I definitely know. People know it and people don't know it. This one is a shot in the dark, but there's a few boy bands that it could be. Play passes around to the person giving the questions out. They might also bet and say, you don't know it either. I don't think you know it either up there for green. Then that's it. So then the question goes back to that player 1. How many people around the table does that person think know this answer? Well, he's already said, I don't know it, so he's not going to put 3 for a start. He might say, I've got 2 down. 2 people will know this answer. Play passes round to the purple. How many people do you think know it around the table? They might have wrote 1. I have wrote 0, and you will see my answer there as well quickly, but I have wrote 0 on the side. Okay, everyone's bets are now locked in. We can see what the person's got. There's no cheating. Try and do it as best you can. You then slide this up slightly, so only the top one comes out at the top of the card. Then as you flip it over, you will get the answer. In fact, I've done that wrong. Let's just cut that there. Let's go back. You go around the circle one more time after asking how many people you think you know it, and you give your answer to the question. Before anyone knows the answer to the question, you give what you've written down. So this person might go Westlife. This person might go, I don't know, what's another boy band from that time? Take That. And I've gone for the Backstreet Boys. They were there. It was NSYNC the 90s? Was NSYNC the 90s or was that early 2000s? They were probably 90s. Could be them. But anyway, the question then gets lifted up. So you now know how many people each one person thinks there is that knows the answer. You've got your bets on and you know what everyone has now put. The answer was, oh my God, it was the Backstreet Boys. The Backstreet Boys was correct. So in that situation, I will get a tick for Backstreet Boys, and I will get a cross there because I thought that no one would know it. So I didn't even back myself because I genuinely didn't think that was the correct answer. But that is now me scored for that round. Everyone else would put a tick or a cross on whether they got the number right or the answer right. You then come to this chips. So green, we said Westlife. So he did not know it. So this didn't know it, flips over, +1 point, and comes back to me because I bet correctly. The green player said that I did not know it. I did know it apparently, and it was Backstreet Boys. So it gets flipped over 1 point, and that also comes to me. I now have 2 bonus points as well as 1 point for getting the correct answer. So one question has just given me 3 points. Then we move on to the next one. The next player becomes the first bet for this one. That's why normally you would have everyone reading a question in a circle. But for this, I'm keeping it just that and moving the first bet player on. So, the next question was, which Disney film became the first to be nominated for Best Picture? And again, do you want to bet? This person might go, I know you know it because you're a big Disney nerd. I do like Disney. It's probably a safe bet. This person's probably going to go, I'm going to hold on to it. It would come around to me first. I've just done that out of order. I'm going to hold on to it anyway. We then go around. How many people do you think know it? They might say 1. They might say 2, 0. I would say 1 because I know the answer to this one. Whether or not anyone else does, I don't know. When everyone's done that, you flip over, you pull out so just the top gets revealed. And the correct answer was Beauty and the Beast. And so you don't think I'm cheating. Beauty and the Beast. I think I've done it in shorthand, so I put Beauty Beast. But it just meant I was a bit quicker typing it down. Again, purple, you know it. It goes back to him because he correctly guessed that I would know the answer to that question. I will go through the answers real quick. You can see what I've put there. So David Wolf became the first American to vote from where? On a Concorde. Were they the 90s? I think Concorde was the 90s. Did he vote while in the air or something like that? I don't know. And I've put one person knows the answer. And the correct answer was space. Okay, apparently David Wolf was an astronaut. I have no clue who that is. Maybe just uncultured. I don't know. But that, nope, never heard of it. What was Netflix's first business? Let's see what people got in case you were right at home. Mail order DVDs. I put DVD rental, so I'm going to say no, I didn't get that correct. So again, I have got, like, at the minute, 2 questions correct and then 2 wrong. So you don't need to know everything in this game. They are very difficult. And then finally, what 1990 World Cup winning nation no longer exists? I know for a fact, I know this one. I do. It is West Germany, or W Germany. Save time. Well, writing this, I don't know if the microphone's cutting out there because I went a bit too far forward. But West Germany was the correct answer. At the end of a round, when everyone has got their chips done, they've tallied up, maybe this person got my you don't know it right, he got that right, he guessed right on himself. It's just a tutorial, I wasn't playing along, playing as them. You would then add up your scores. So you total up how many people got it right, how many answers you got right. So for this, I got 3 answers right, so I'd definitely go up to 3. I got none of them right. We might say I got 1 right of them. We weren't playing along properly, so I'd go correctly. You then add your 2 chips on, so I go up there. We'll say that this person shot around and knew everything, and this person didn't quite have the same luck. Right, no, we won't. We'll say that they went ahead of me. Well, because I need to tell you the next part of the game, because this game's played over 3 rounds, which means you will have 15 questions in total. Now, I'm not going to pull out another set of questions because it's a tutorial. If you want to see us play this game on the channel, we'll try and find a third person. We'll get a game off it set up. But if you're wondering, well, if the person in last place, which is me in this one, has already gone, I'm not that smart, I don't know a lot of these answers, and I'm just in last place, so I'm going to stay in last place forever and a day, you'd be wrong. Because what this game then has is a catch-up mechanic. So after round 1, the person in last place gets given these 2 extra, you know it and you don't know it, catch-up chips. These are chips that you can use the same way as you use yours, because everyone would get their own chips back for the start of the next 5 questions. So now I have 4 bets to place. Now, this catch-up mechanic works, but it's a double-edged sword, because you are at the back. So if I'm at the back and I get all 4 of these correct, and I correctly bet that people know or don't know the questions, great. I am going to catch up, and I will maybe take the lead for the next round, for the final round. However, if I get all 4 of these wrong and still know nothing, then I've boosted someone else by +4 points, and I've got no points, and I'm just going to stay further back. So it's double-edged. It's that you don't have to use them, but they are there, and it is a good catch-up mechanic to catch up in this game, because, like I say, you don't need to know the answers, you just need to know your friends. But that's it. You will do 3 rounds of questions. Whoever gets to either 30 points first, no one gets to 30 points. Let's just be honest, this game, if you do get to 30 points, you are either cheating or a genius, because we have played this and our scores normally end around here, because the questions are challenging enough that you will know some, and some you will not know. And some will have you questioning what your friends do, because I brought this to work when I first got the game. It's only out a year now, I think, coming up to a year. I brought this to work last Christmas. And I should point out that this is the deluxe edition of the game. I'm not sure if the deluxe edition is still available on their website. There is a normal version as well. You just won't get the weighted poker chips, tokens, and stuff like that. Everything else you should get in the game that's still there. And I've got a few bonus packs from the Kickstarter, which was like the 90s questions that I've just used in this tutorial. However, when I brought this to work, and we were all over here, but there were some questions which they stick with you. They stick with you. Like, one of them was, what is the capital of Morocco? And everyone scribbled down an answer. And I put one down, and then we went around and everyone bet on everyone, and it was great. Then we went through the answers, and everyone was like, I think 3 people know it, I think 4 people know it, because it's quite obvious. And then they read out their answers. And it was Mauritius, 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 and then I was Rabat. And this isn't me trying to think like I'm better than these guys, by the way, in this story that I'm telling you now. Everyone looked at me like, you're an idiot. You're an absolute idiot. Of course it's Mauritius. And I was like, as soon as they said it, I was like, it's Mauritius. Why am I thinking Rabat? And it was Rabat. And that sticks in their heads. They still talk about it. They still ask how I knew it. And to be honest with you, the only reason I knew that is because AFCON was on at the time in Morocco, and the final was in a place called Rabat. And I was like, you're not going to put your final of a World Cup or an AFCON tournament not in a capital city. So I guessed. But it's stuff like that. So you will pick up stuff, you will learn. There are some questions which make you feel stupid. There are some questions that make you feel really smart in front of your friends. It's a great game, quick to play, quick to teach, and really fun, and not what most quiz games are like. You don't have to know everything to do well in this game. That has been I Read the Rules So You Don't Have To. You now know how to play You Know It, the game by Invisible Typewriter. If you want to see us play this game on the channel, then do let us know with a comment down below, and we will try and find a 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th player to sit down and have a bumper game of You Know It. And until then, it's bye from me.